Hello friends! So in today's video I want to talk a little bit about how in the last 6 months I have decluttered my entire life. Like my entire life. Every single part of my whole life I've decluttered. And it has honestly changed my life. It has changed who I am. And I know that might sound silly, but I really have changed every part of my life, and it has given me so much freedom and motivation, and has really made me think about who I am and who I want to be. And I wanted to share a little piece of that journey with you. So the first thing that I did, it was back in November, and I'm just going to be honest, I was so depressed. I was so depressed and I was so anxious. And I was so nervous, and I felt like every situation where if someone didn't like me, or my boyfriend wasn't texting me back, or if one of my patients at work was upset with me, it felt devastating. It just felt like a crushing blow. And I just got to this point where so much of who I was not who I wanted to be. And I was just not proud of myself. I was not proud of the things I was doing, of how I was dealing with stress, and the choices that I was making. And I knew that if I continued to do this and live this way, I know that how I want to live my life and who I want to be, it'll never happen. And there was something about that shift in November that made me realize, if I don't get myself together now, time is just going to keep ticking on, and time is just going to keep moving forward, and I don't want to have this same midlife crisis when I am 37. So that's when I decided I really feel like everything in my life needs to change. I feel like I just need to go back to the drawing board. I need to go back to the basics of my life. I feel like I need to reestablish who I am, and in order to do that, I feel like I needed a clean slate. I needed a completely washed, clean slate, and I needed to start with nothing. So in order to do that, I had to clear everything in my life. And I think the easiest way to start that was with my physical stuff. I started with just my room. I went through my closet and I got rid of so many bags of clothes that just didn't fit, or that I didn't like, or really, I know it sounds silly, but represented the type of person that I didn't want to be anymore. I didn't want to wear clothing that I was putting on and trying to be another person. I didn't want to wear someone else. I wanted to wear myself, and I wanted to wear clothing that looked like me, except the only problem was I had no idea what that even was. Still don't really, still figuring that part out. But I just started deciding, okay, I don't think that I'm this person anymore, and the person that I want to be wouldn't wear something like this, or wouldn't present themselves in this way. So I just started donating things. I donated so much. I donated and I sold so much. After my closet, I did the same thing with my room, where I just went through every drawer and I just did it little piece by little piece. I didn't do everything at once. I didn't do my house all at once. I just took one day at a time, and I wrote it out on my list as separate tasks. So instead of seeing it as like decluttering my whole house, I put declutter my pantry, declutter my bathroom, declutter my vanity in my bedroom that has all my makeup. I put it as separate different tasks so I could feel like I could do one thing at a time and still feel accomplished and proud of myself. And that really helped me, because I think one of the biggest reasons why people don't declutter their life is it just feels so daunting to them. It just feels so overwhelming to them. And they don't know where to start, and they don't know what to do because there's so much to do. But if you break it up into small bite-sized chunks, that really does help. At least it did for me. So I just started plugging away on slowly but surely getting the physical things out of my life. And it was so amazing how when I was doing that physical decluttering, physical cleanse of my house and my space, it really got my wheels turning in my brain about the rest of my life. I'm a very practical person, and so I need something tangible and practical, something that I can touch to translate into my emotional world, if that makes sense. So I need to be able to physically get rid of something in order to emotionally feel like I'm clearing the slate as well. And so as I was physically decluttering all of this stuff, I feel like I was able to start thinking about, okay, emotionally, what do I want to declutter? What do I want to take out of my life that isn't just stuff, but that's feeling like clutter in my life, that is holding me down, holding me back. And so I just started brainstorming as I was physically decluttering my closet, my pantry, my kitchen, everything. That gave me the space to think. For some reason, maybe it's not like that for everyone, but for me, it definitely was. So I just started to think about, what are the things that are making me feel like crap and that are making me feel self-conscious and guilty and shameful and unmotivated, and how can I get rid of those things? So the next thing that I decided to declutter, for lack of a better word, out of my life was, I decided I'm going to take a break from alcohol and the party scene and going to bars. And at the time, that was a big part of my life. I think some people would be surprised if they heard that, because that's maybe not how people would picture me, but that was a big part of my social life, was going to bars on the weekends, going dancing, and I knew everyone at the bars, and I think it was definitely a way for me to feel beautiful, to feel like I was getting some kind of connection with people. It did feel like validation in a way, if a guy were to come up and chat with me, and we would exchange numbers and go on a date, and that sort of cat and mouse thing was addicting for me in a way. And I don't know, I just started to think, I've been through 3 relationships now where I've met guys in bars, and they ended badly, and they weren't the kind of relationships that I want. They weren't people that I actually want to spend my life with, and that really wanted to know who I am. And maybe at the time that just wasn't important to me, but I think that was part of that shift in November. Was I decided, no, like, that is important to me. That cat and mouse sort of push and pull game, it just wasn't fun for me anymore, because it didn't go anywhere. And I think who I am, the kind of person that I am a deep feeler. I love relationships and making deep relationships with people, and I want to have an emotional connection with people, and I was not finding that in the bar scene and when I was drinking with friends. So I decided, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing for everyone, but for me at the time it was. And I just wanted to take a break from that. And it was so amazing how I really was able to see who my true friends were in that. I was able to see who really cared about me for me and wanted to know me for me, and who just wanted to have a good time with me, and who just wanted to see entertaining Brittany that, would say or do crazy things. And I was able to see like who really loved me. and who wanted to do life with me. And I don't know, coming into my mid-late 20s, that's more important to me. That's what I want. And it's not fun. It's not fun for me anymore to have meaningless relationships. So I think by me cutting out the alcohol and bar hopping and stuff like that, a result of that was kind of sifting out toxic relationships and toxic friendships, romantic ones and friendships. I broke up with a guy that I was with at the time, and it wasn't even that bad of a relationship. It just, I don't feel like I was able to be myself, and I feel like what I was learning and who I wanted to become didn't fit with him, and that was really hard to let go of. And I just realized that that's not who I want to be. That's not what I want. I want to be loved for me. And then I think the social part with friends fell close behind, where as I was growing and changing and really challenging what do I want out of life, a lot of my friends either were encouraged by that and wanted to be part of that and wanted to change also, and were excited for me and encouraging of me. And then some of them were more self-conscious around me, felt like I was judging them, or felt upset that I was a party pooper, that I wasn't going to drink with them, and it made me feel like that's all they cared about. And so those relationships kind of got more distant over time. Sorry, I had to change angles. The lighting is so much better this way. Why didn't I start this way? So sorry. Anyways, as I was saying, I feel like those relationships, they just kind of faded away, and it was sad and it was difficult, and there was a lot of mixed feelings about that. I could probably make a whole video talking about that, like how to let go of friendships and relationships when someone has been important to you, but they're not necessarily great to have in the next phase of life, or they don't want you to grow. That's really difficult. So I decided that I was gonna stop going to bars, stop drinking, and stop mindlessly dating, just dating to date. And I don't know if that's going to be a forever thing. I have no idea. But I know as of the last 6 months, because it's been 6 months now of, I haven't been on a date in 6 months. I haven't been in a bar in 6 months. I haven't drank anything, complete cleanse of alcohol in 6 months. Absolutely nothing. I want this clean slate. I want my life to change. I want the person that I've been dreaming of becoming to have space to become that. And maybe this isn't the process for everyone, but knowing myself, it is. I know that this is right. I know that this is what I need to do. So another thing that I did was I wanted to cut out any sort of mindless spending. So I wanted to do a no spend month, and honestly it's kind of turned into a no spend year, because back in January I started with a no spend month, and then I kind of did another no spend month last month, and then I've definitely done one this month as well, and I did a video on that where I didn't even spend money on groceries, which was really interesting. I just lived off of my garden. I'm still doing it, living off my garden and my pantry and my freezer. Really interesting, really fun challenge for yourself. So that was another thing that I wanted to do, was I wanted to practice not just spending on anything that I desired, on anything that I felt like. I wanted to practice not impulse spending and letting myself be uncomfortable, letting myself not have everything that I'm wanting instantly. I've lived a really lucky life where I haven't ever had to really be uncomfortable for what I want. So that's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to get in the mindset of like, how am I ever going to achieve the things that I want and the things that I'm dreaming of if I'm spending all my money away on stuff that I don't even care about? It's ridiculous. And once I realized that, especially when I sat down and looked at my bank statement, I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm spending money on so much crap that I don't need. And if I would have just had more self-control, then I would be able to have so much more money. And I hate to say that, because money is not everything. Money is definitely not everything. But money is a tool, and I want to use it responsibly. And if I have a desire in my heart that requires money, like if I want to do something that I feel like can make a difference in people's life, and I could build something that's actually productive and useful with that money, then I would so much rather do that than spend so much money on freaking Amazon on like a different color toothbrush or a different color top or cute shoes that I wear 4 times and throw away. Like, that's so disturbing. I don't want to be that way anymore. So that was something that I realized, like, I really want to work on that. I want to change that bad habit. And I'm not going to be perfect, so I don't have to be perfect. But I want to be aware of this money is a gift, and I want to use it wisely, and I want to put it towards something that I actually care about, even if that makes me uncomfortable in the moment. What a concept. Another thing that I think was helpful was looking at my diet and looking at what are the things that I am comfort eating, that I'm just impulse eating, that either I'm not eating out of comfort, out of wanting a sense of control, or mindlessly bored comfort snacking eating. And both are bad. Like, both are not the purpose of food. That's not what I want food to be in my life. I want food to nourish me and give me energy and give my body fuel. And part of it is definitely enjoying it. I want to enjoy the taste of my food, and I want it to be delicious food. But I don't want food or spending or boys or alcohol or partying or stuff. I don't want that to be what defines me and what makes me feel good enough, what makes me feel like Brittany, because none of those things make me be, okay? None of those things. And I want to start training myself to see who I am and who I want to be, and start making choices that support that. And it has been so freeing. It has been so freeing to have that mindset and to actually put my money where my mouth is and do the hard work. And it has not been easy. It has been uncomfortable. It has been out of my comfort zone for sure. People have not understood. People have thought, oh, don't you think that's a little much? Or like, are you taking things too out of control? Or is this really sustainable? And honestly, their opinions don't matter in this situation. They don't matter, because I think it depends on your intention. If you're doing this, or if you're being restrictive, or if you're doing anything like this out of a sense of guilt or shame or self-hate or panic, then it's not good. Anything can be used for good or bad. But in this situation, it was so used for good to give me that clean slate. I needed room to breathe. I needed air. I needed space. And I needed space to think and be able to figure out, who do I want to be? What do I want the next chapter of my life to look like? And how do I do that? And decluttering my whole life has really done that. And so it's been 6 months of that. And I haven't had a crash and burn. It hasn't just been a season. It hasn't been a phase. It's really changing my life, and it's changing who I am. And I feel like it's given me space to be able to hear God and have Him show me who I really am and who I want to be. And having that space and silence in my life, I've been able to hear His voice, and I've been able to understand who I am in that. And I want to keep doing that. And this process has changed my life. It completely has changed my life. And it is so worth it. And so I want to keep this ball rolling. I want to keep moving forward in this direction. And I think it could be something that is really encouraging for other people to do too with me, that we're not in this alone, that it is difficult and it is hard and it is kind of against the grain, but you're not alone in this and we're doing it together. And if you have that overwhelmed, anxious, drowning feeling, and if you feel like your life is running you, then you can change that. I'm changing it right now and I'm still figuring out how the crap to do that, but I feel so much better at this place and so much more clear-minded and so much more focused on who I want to be and what I want my life to look like now than 6 months ago. And I'm so glad that I've been putting in this work, and I want to keep moving forward in that direction. So I think that it's something that could be really encouraging for us all to look at. What are the things that I'm doing that are actually hurting me and not helping me? And how can I take those things out of my life, regardless of if other people understand or not? And there's going to be people that don't understand. And that's okay. That's all right. Like, it's okay to upset people in that way. It's okay to have people judge what you're doing or not understand what you're doing or not agree with what you're doing. But this was about me, and I knew this was about me and God. I knew that He was telling me I needed to make space in my life, and I'm so glad that I've been listening to that, and He's been able to show me what are the things that I want to replace and put in that free space. What are the things that I want to welcome into my life? And so it's been cool to see with that, making space and fresh, clean slate and decluttering my whole life it's been incredible. So I would encourage you to maybe take a look at your own life and see what areas you can love yourself in that way. I think that this is the most self-love sort of thing that I could have ever done for myself. I think it was the best way that I could ever support myself. And I just hope that something like this could be encouraging for you. And I don't want you to feel alone, because you're not. We're in it together, and things are going to keep changing, and it's exciting. It's all going to be good. We're in this together. We got this. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I will see you in my next one. Have a great day.